on, guys? We're getting set up here for the Virtue Hearing podcast and show. And we are live also on the camera.
Yep.
Everything's good?
Everything's good.
All right. What is up, guys? I hope everybody's doing well. My name's Chris. I am your host. I got my co-host Shannon here.
Guys.
And again, I am your hearing care professional.
Yes.
So today we are going to be talking about what can hearing loss lead to. So Shannon, I mean, just from your experience, what do you think hearing loss can lead to?
Well, I mean, I had a personal experience with an aunt of mine who had hearing loss, but didn't really know she had hearing loss. Just every time that someone would talk to her, she just, didn't really respond. And it was more that she was, aggravated because people couldn't hear her. I mean, she couldn't hear them. And, she was missing a lot of things. She was asking people to turn up the TV, the music, asking them to repeat themselves all the time, and it was really annoying for her and sometimes discouraging. So, yeah,
definitely. So I mean, I bet a lot of people wonder and think about what can it lead to. So let's get right to it. So a big one is stress. You could get stressed out a lot, anger, social withdrawal from situations, social rejection and embarrassment, and a big one is depression. So let me tell you guys a little story. So, just from a real experience, one of my patients, I'm not going to say the name, but, she was having a lot of difficulty at work. She worked at I think it was like a manufacturing company for NASA and stuff.
Oh, nice.
She would, communicate a lot with her, with her colleagues, and they have to constantly be checking parts and saying this is good, this is bad. But everybody, was getting frustrated with her because they constantly had to be repeating themselves, and because of all of that, she was constantly stressed out. She was angry, she was sad, she was a little depressed. She would come to my office and say, "Hey, Chris, you know what? This is not working. This is still not helping me at work, and I'm going through all of these things." So we had to change her hearing aids a couple times until we finally nailed the sweet spot. But the point of that is that people with hearing loss are going to go through these things, and hearing aids is something that could definitely help improve all these situations. So we're also going to go through the improvements of what the hearing aids can also offer as far as improving your quality of life. And
did you adjust her hearing aid device, or did you adjust the settings? What was it that was
so
the problem?
In her situation, it just again, when you're choosing hearing aids, it all really depends on what technology level that you choose.
Okay.
So she started off with something very basic just because it was more economic, it was more cheaper, and it ended up not helping her out or benefiting her in any way. So she had to upgrade to a premium technology that was able to handle all those noisy situations and make speech clear and reduce background noise and all those sorts of things, which ended up avoiding all these things, stress, anger, social withdrawal, depression, all those little things.
Right.
So I mean, how can better hearing help? If you got an idea, post in comments. If you have any questions, post in comments. Let us know what you think. What can better hearing do to a person who is actually struggling from hearing loss? What do you think? Just from the top of your head, what comes to mind?
When it comes to relieving some of those things?
Yeah, when it comes to mind.
I think they would want to be in more social environments because now they're excited to hear from people.
Yeah.
So maybe better relationships, improve relationships, also better quality of life now that you're in these, social settings.
Definitely.
And since you're in these social settings, you can hear people better, and even to helping out your family members, because maybe when you're watching TV, it has to be at such a high level that other people's hearing is being lost as well. So maybe you're
being compromised, right?
Yeah, maybe you're avoiding your family members from also having hearing loss, because now you're not having to turn everything up all the way.
Definitely. So so here are some of the things that hearing aids can help with. It improves independence. Once you're wearing hearing aids, you're more aware of your of your environment, whether if you're on the streets, if you're driving, just in general, you're more aware of what's going on around you. You're able to hear soft sounds like, hey, you might hear an ambulance coming, you might hear somebody walking up towards you, somebody talking behind you, stuff like that, then otherwise you wouldn't be able to hear.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, another one allows you to be more socially engaged. When you have hearing loss, you're constantly asking people to repeat themselves. You didn't understand correctly what the person is saying. If there was a big social setting, multiple people are talking, you're kind of confused. You're kind of just going with the flow at that point because you hear it, but you're not understanding, and then you're not involved, and you're like, yeah, I agree.
You didn't hear nothing they said.
But you don't know what the heck they just said. So that's another one. Improves the quality of life. You're able to communicate with your friends, family, and/or loved ones better. If you're communicating with your daughter, your granddaughter, your grandkids, your mom, your dad, whoever it is, you're going to be communicating much more easily and having to struggle less. You get listened on the first time, and that way you understood, and it doesn't frustrate your family members when it comes to having them repeat themselves, because some people might have a little bit of patience, but most likely most people aren't.
And I can imagine now family members want to talk to you, because I know some family members that they're like, I don't even want to talk to them because I'm gonna have to be repeating myself all the time.
That's a big one. Yeah, definitely. Just knowing that you're not gonna have a great conversation with that person, you start to say, what, I'd rather not even talk to them or deal with them.
Yeah.
And on the hearing loss side, you start to feel that people are not engaging with you as much. Maybe your family and friends are ignoring you. They try to stay away as much as possible because they know it's going to be a very difficult situation and difficult conversation, or to communicate and stuff. So
that makes sense.
That's another one that hearing aids can help with. It reconnects you with your friends and family and their loved ones. It's just the ease of being able to just understand what they said the first time. It's so simple, such a simple thing that can change your life dramatically. Another one, improves productivity. If you're able to communicate very fast, you're able to get more things done. Let's say for a person who's younger and still works, they're constantly having meetings. Again, like the story I told you guys about my patient, where she was having trouble communicating with her team. Having hearing aids on helped her communicate much faster, more fluently, and everybody was working at a great pace, and just made the environment much more easy and less of a hassle.
Yeah, you know what too? Maybe another thing that you guys probably didn't, for the grandparents out there, maybe now your kids will feel more comfortable leaving the grandkids around you, and maybe you can spend more time with them because now you can hear their whereabouts, because if, let's say I had a parent that couldn't hear very well, I'm not going to trust them with my kid to take care of them or be around them, because they're not going to be able to hear if they fall or if they do things like that.
That's true. A big problem that most of my elderly patients have, everybody who's retired, the Social Security just isn't enough. So we're starting to see more elderly folks constantly looking for work, getting more jobs. And sometimes I see a lot of my patients struggling because they can't hear. They're not getting the job because they can't hear. There's very few jobs that will qualify you just because, it is discrimination, but they're not going to tell you that. They're just probably going to say, you're not a qualified candidate or this and that, or they'll find their way around it. But having hearing aids and being able to communicate also gives you more opportunity in the workforce.
I didn't think about that.
In the workforce,
And I have seen a couple people that were 55 and up, and Ubers and stuff like that. So yeah, that's gonna help out with
Ubers, definitely. So just touching on a few of these things a little more in detail, another one is the big one, depression. Once your family and friends start getting away from you, they don't want to deal with you, then you might feel a little depressed. And everybody knows that you could feel sad, you could have mood swings, you don't want to deal with anything, and maybe even have suicide thoughts, which it's hard to talk about, but it's something that is real. And if you feel that you're having hearing loss, or someone who's going through it, send them to their local hearing care professional to get a hearing screen done to see if there's any way that hearing aids can help, or see if there's any medical or other options that can help treat the hearing loss. Because hearing loss can be, there's 3 different types of hearing loss. There's conductive, mixed, and sensory neural, and some of them can be cleared medically, and some of them can benefit from hearing aids. And even if they're 100% deaf and cannot benefit from hearing aids, they might be able to get referred to an audiologist to look into something called the cochlear implant. There's got to be some type of option, definitely.
Wow, that's amazing.
So yeah, these are good things. If you guys have questions, comments, post them down below. We want to really start hearing from people. We're coming to you every Wednesday, me and Shannon.
Yeah.
We're going to be bringing in more hearing aid manufacturer reps. Hopefully we're going to get my friend Gary Dwarf here. He is the Oticon rep. We're going to be talking about Oticon products. I know last time we talked about Unitron. We will be bringing in the Oticon rep Gary. Maybe somebody from Signia Instruments. Who else? We got Widex. There's a lot of different manufacturers, and everybody has their own little perks.
Nice. All right, cool.
All right,
any specials or anything to give to the audience out
So
there?
again, we posted here in the comments in the little text box. We're offering free hearing aid trials, and that includes a console, free hearing test.
Wow.
So again, if you know somebody who's struggling with hearing loss, send them our way.
And we're in Montebello, California.
Montebello, California. I tagged our location. If you need the info, just message us, send us a comment. We'll shoot you the information, and just say you heard us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, podcast. We're basically on all social media platforms, and we will waive the $145 consult and test fee that we do charge here, because it is a service. But we are going to give that to free for whoever listens to us and here's our podcast and stuff like that. Cool.
Nice. Well, good stuff, guys. And if you have any questions, let us know.
Thanks, guys. Share, like, subscribe, and thank you so much for listening. We're here to provide you guys with valuable content, maybe hopefully educate you. Hopefully you guys learned a little something about what hearing loss can lead to. Yes. And we'll definitely catch you guys in the next podcast. Thank you, guys. Take care.